Welcome to the WalaWay. This is Imran Nalawala, and once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Ahmed. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, you been?
Doing good, man. You were a little sick a couple of days ago. You
Yeah,
feeling much better?
alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So we can get straight into it, man. Playoffs are not far away. I think there's 7, 8, or 9 games left. Less?
Yeah, no more than 10.
No more than 10.
Yeah.
No more than 10. We see the Mavericks are streaking into the playoffs. Luka doing some incredible things. Devin Booker had a 50-something, 52-game performance yesterday.
Yeah.
The teams we expect to be there, like the Nuggets and whatnot, are handling business. OKC handling business. Where do you want to start today?
We can start on the playoffs.
Okay.
My dad always taught me when I was little, when we were like listening to watching Cowboys since I was 6 or 7 years old. He always told me, if you want to be a good team in the playoffs, you have to streak into the playoffs. You can't stumble into the playoffs. Right now, the Mavericks, what are they, 12 or 11 out of the last 12. Rockets, 10 out of the last 11. But you see other teams that are on the opposite scale. You see the Kings kind of slipping and falling. You see the Lakers struggling with games they should win. The Clippers are really struggling right now. So it's gonna be a fun show in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, for me, I don't think anything really changes, man. I think the Clippers had a little bit of that hot streak for a portion of the season, but again, they're kind of back to the spot they've been in the last couple of years, right? It'll probably be a one and done. If they're lucky, they might get into the second round. But from the West, I'm still expecting the Nuggets. The Thunder have a chance. From the East, you don't think so? At all?
They're too young.
So that's what I'm saying. They have a chance. I don't necessarily to win it all, but I mean, there's to make a deep playoff run.
I'm saying, just for example, say the Lakers get in that game. Let's say they get the 7th seed. They get to play OKC. That's not a foregone conclusion that OKC is gonna win that game or win that series
Against
the Lakers.
Yeah, sure.
LeBron and AD's experience, they're superstar, they're established
I see what you're saying.
names.
Yeah.
I love Shy, Chet, all those guys, but you saw last year with was it last year? It was last year when LA went to the conference finals.
2 seasons ago. Yeah, they made it last year too.
Last
The
year.
Nuggets, right?
Yeah.
And they lost.
You saw with Memphis.
Yep.
Memphis was the 2nd seed, really hot, really young.
Yep. And
they just didn't have the experience.
Yeah. No, good point. Good point. I think that's a good point. And then from the East, I'm still seeing, even though they've had some struggles, not struggles, but chinks in the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the Celtics are still the favorite. They're saying Embiid is going to come back. I always struggle to think about like a guy who's had chronic knee injuries several years, and then he comes back right before the playoffs. Are they rushing it? It's we'll get to that clip later, that Gilbert Arenas clip about team doctors. Is he rushing back? Is he fully healthy? But let's say he's fully healthy. What's good about the situation is that the team has kind of come together without him, right? So now your role players are adapted to actually making shots, doing a little bit more. So I think it is a perfect storm in the sense that he comes back.
Yeah.
The team has become adapted.
You think they'll be dangerous if they could get in? Because they're in like the play-in area, right?
Yeah, not dangerous enough to win. I think three series in a row. Truthfully,
you think conference finals like max?
It's possible. Yeah, but the problem that exists
they have to play
is
Milwaukee or Boston.
Because if they come in at the 8th seed, right, and they're in the play-in, they win in the play-in, they're going to have to play Boston first.
Yeah.
Boston's number 1, right?
Boston's, yeah. By landslide.
So then, let's say they somehow beat Boston.
Then you got to play
which
Cleveland,
which is plausible, right?
Yeah.
With Boston, you never know. But then you have to play probably Milwaukee or Cleveland or something. So, did we say Milwaukee? Yeah, we did just we said Milwaukee. So it'll be interesting.
I think in a way, I've heard Iggy say it before about the Lakers last year. The best thing that happened to the Lakers last year was LeBron getting hurt. When LeBron was on the floor, and I think I heard Paul Pierce say it. He's like, when LeBron's on the floor, everyone's dependent on the heart. So when you take the heart out, you got other guys, Austin Reeves elevating, D'Lo elevating, Vando elevating, AD elevating. All these guys kind of finding themselves. And then once LeBron comes back, they're a perfect mesh. So I think, Maxey finding himself, Kelly Oubre, all those role players kind of find themselves, and then you insert arguably one of the best players in the NBA. They could be a scary team for a team like Cleveland, because Cleveland's like OKC, a very young team.
What do you think about? You mentioned Oubre. What do you think about Oubre?
Like,
as a player?
I didn't like what he did the other day.
Was he the one that flicked off the refs?
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
F you, your mama. Yeah.
yeah. Like
I think he's a good, like a ball player. Like he's a good player to have. He could drop. He's like, I don't know who to compare him to.
You don't think he's like a Jordan Peele, a Jordan Poole on the Warriors?
No, he's not like that. I'll compare it to like a worser Jalen Williams for OKC. Like he could be your fourth, third option, but any game he could drop 30.
It's interesting because I've always found him to be talented, but I feel like he bounces around a lot.
Yeah, he's been
Relatively
a lot
speaking.
of teams.
Yeah, that's never for a young, talented player. I don't think that's a good sign.
I think his attitude's got him out
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
lot of situations.
Yeah, because when I'm like, man, this guy's available, such and such team should pick him up.
Even this offseason, he was available for a couple
I know.
days. He wasn't like a first-day signing player.
I know. It's interesting. That's interesting.
I guess he's too big of a head case to handle.
It could be, man. These guys. I always think about it, man. Like I saw the other day. Did you see the clip of who is Snyder coaches for the Hawks? Did you see him?
Was Bogdan?
Yeah, did you see that?
That's crazy.
Bro, like DeJounte Murray was sitting right there just watching the whole time. Like he didn't even get up to like stop him.
I didn't get the context. I just saw the clip.
I didn't get the context. I was trying to understand what happened. I mean, coach probably called him out, criticized. I mean, it could happen, man. In the heat of the moment, towards the end of the season,
everyone's trying to win.
Playoff implications, right? I've never seen him react that way, but it's funny because that would never be tolerated at like middle school or high school, right? I think even in college, traditionally, it would never have been tolerated in college. Maybe college it's become a little bit more tolerable, but once you make that jump and you're one of those select few who make it to the professional levels of playing professional basketball, it seems like sometimes you can get away with a lot, right? And we know that coaches have been fired on the bequest of star players, and they go directly to the GM or whatever it is to get a certain person traded or to get themselves traded or to get their coach fired. So sometimes I'm just thinking, like, what happened to that old school notion of like leadership? Again, these things happen. I'm not saying it's completely bad, right? These are grown men. They work together all the time. They probably live together at times, just being at the gym. But I was a little frustrated that DeJounte, as supposedly the second or third best player on the team, didn't get up to intervene. And I feel like I see a lot of that on certain teams where you see the star player, if there's like some type of ruckus.
They don't like step on toes, I feel like.
Yeah, he'll just kind of walk the other way, turn his back to the situation. I'm like, okay, is he afraid of getting into a fight? Does he understand that he's valuable? He's worth $30 to $40 million, and he doesn't want to potentially get injured. Like, what's going on
It's
here?
kind of funny you say that because Gil was like, all the old players like to talk about how it used to be rough and they used to fight. And Gil he was like, well, yeah, they were charging y'all $50 for fines. Now they're charging $25,000 for fines.
Oh, the stakes are completely different. Yeah,
It's a different state of the game.
Yeah.
But even going back to what you were saying, I feel like that's why the Hawks, because they have all the talent. They got Trey, DeJounte, Jalen Johnson, Capella. That's a good squad. Sadiq Bey's still there?
Yeah.
That's a good squad, but they don't have any veteran leadership. I feel like that's what helped the Heat last year is that they had UD. Because you saw the kind of like the same thing that happened with Jimmy and Spoelstra.
Yep.
So you saw UD kind of step in and
Play the media.
cut that off, yeah.
Yeah. Big brother.
Yeah.
Random thought that just came to my mind. You see what Luka's, what he can sign for this offseason?
Oh, like 346 or something stupid?
It came out to be like, I want to say between $60 and $70 million a year.
It was like 69 on average.
$69 million a year, man. A year.
I kind of just hope that's where the market's going. Because that's kind of what Jaylen Brown got. Was it not the years? Or was it not the big number? It was kind of in that same ballpark.
Yeah, he got a super
crazy.
Yeah,
AD got it, but
he got like
short
450
term.
or something. Yeah. The crazy thing is though, because I used to pay attention a lot to like team salary caps, and I haven't recently. So I don't even know what the salary cap is right now. Like for like the average salary cap
for each team.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
So I'm wondering, like, if let's say he does sign it, how much more money do they have to play with before they hit the luxury tax? And how much is that? Or is it at a level now where you're like, okay, you can have 3 or 4 maximum contracts on the team?
I don't know how it is in, like, I'm not too familiar with the cap in the NBA. But I know in the NFL, it's basically not a cap. You could finesse it.
No, in the NBA, there's a cap.
I know I'm saying, but, like, it's finessable. Like, you can.
No.
Like, in the NFL, you're charging $40 million on our cap this year. Okay, let's convert that to a signing bonus, push back. elongate, extend, blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure in NBA it's a lot harder. I think that's where the market's gonna go.
So when I grew up in the early to mid 2000s, the luxury tax would always become an issue. Now it may have changed since then, right? Because there's some things I don't follow up with, but back then, the big market teams are the ones who typically would go into the luxury tax, and they can afford it, right?
Yeah.
The smaller market teams can't. Again, correct me. The basketball universe can correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say the cap was $120 million, which it used to be like 100 million, 105 million, 100. Let's say it's 120. I believe that for every dollar you go above, you pay that in tax, or you pay that in a fee to the NBA. There was something
It's like
crazy.
a 20% or something like that.
No, it wasn't 20%. It was like, if I remember correctly, if you go 20 million above the cap, so now you're paying that extra 20
Luxury,
million to the
yeah.
player, but then you're paying the same amount to the league or to something. So it wasn't really advantageous.
So
Yeah.
you see a courageous owner like Mark Cuban, he's not cheap. He'll spend, he'll take risk. I don't think he minds playing in that luxury tax.
I don't know if Mark Cuban is the owner anymore, or
He's
a
basketball
minority
operations.
owner. Yeah. I know he sold a large stake, or either the
Yeah, to
entire.
that lady.
Yeah. So yeah, but he's been courageous. I mean, that's kind of what's made him a. I remember like even when he was a new owner, like I think he was one of the first. From what I remember, he put like video game consoles in everybody's locker,
Yeah.
so everyone used to have their own PS2 or PS.
Steven Jackson, he was like, the Mavericks were the only team that treated the other team
Yes.
with like good food,
Yes.
good everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's next
Cool
level,
guy,
man.
yeah.
I told you I went to the Mavericks team.
Yeah.
I loved it. Where the arena was like in the middle of the city.
It's awesome.
I had never experienced. I was like, man, this is like right in the city.
Yeah. It's not a big hassle.
No, it was cool.
Like when you go to a Cowboys game, it's like you basically got to walk a mile to get into the stadium.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's a big hassle.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good, man. No, but the Luka contract is going to be easy, interesting, depending on what they choose to do with it, and if they're going to extend him all the way, or if he's more serious about because you see that there have been players like Dwayne Wade took a haircut to get Bosh and LeBron and all these guys to sign. LeBron took a haircut as well, a couple million here and there, right?
Yeah.
But that couple million makes a huge difference in being able to retain your existing role players, maybe bring on an additional player. So interesting, man, interesting.
Yeah. Of course, he doesn't have to take the Mavericks.
No. Yeah.
But also, the other day was kind of the start of NFL free agency. And all the Cowboys fans are going crazy about there was no activity throughout the first couple days. One signing throughout the whole free agency. People were freaking out. And one of my friends, he called me because he likes to talk ball with me. And he's like, we're all tied up in our quarterback. Dak is our main chunk of our cap right now. Do you think our team would be better if you just got like a mid quarterback? Dak's probably like a top 7, 8 quarterback. If you moved back to like a 15, 16 ranked quarterback, but you get 60 million to play with, and you get the best linebacker, you get the best safety, you get the best running back. How does that compare to, how do you think that compares to basketball? I don't think it's not comparable at all, because you can't exchange Luka for any amount of good role players.
You mean trade Luka for a whole bunch of role players?
Yeah, just say trade, or that cap you could have spent on Luka, you spent it on, just say like Mikal Bridges, Cam Thomas. You know what I mean? Like those kind of players.
Basketball doesn't work like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Football, how many players do you have on the side?
11 on each side.
Only 11? Oh, I'm surprised.
11 offense, 11 defense.
Interesting. So you have 11, right? And you have special teams and this and that. Basketball, you have 5 guys who play at any given time, and in your rotation, you can have anywhere between 8 and 10 guys.
Yeah.
You have more players than that on the team, but as people get into the playoffs, rotations become shorter. So, I used to always think like that, the whole analytical thinking. Okay, we can take this guy out, replace it with this. And the NBA has always been like a star-driven team. You have a few exceptions like the Pistons, but even then, the Pistons had quality players, right? Rasheed Wallace was a bona fide all-star. He just was being moved around a lot.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace was a defensive player of the year. So it's not like these guys are scrubs or just standard role players. No, these guys are specialists at what they do. Rip Hamilton, great at the mid-range. Tayshaun Prince, definitely an all-NBA defensive type player. Chauncey Billups, finals MVP. So only seldom in NBA history have you had teams with less talent or less superstar talent win, like the Spurs, in my opinion. as much as I love Ginobili and Parker, these guys, the reputation they had was never as MVPs, right? So if you look at like 2003 when the Spurs won, Tim Duncan was a legit bona fide star. David Robinson last year in the league, his point and rebound and all those production went way down. Ginobili was in his first year in the league. Tony Parker was in his second year in the league. Steven Jackson's like in his second year in the league. Kevin Willis is like 42 years old. So it's a one really legit star and accumulation of talent. Typically, what you have in the NBA is multiple talented guys on a team to win it, right? So if you look at the Lakers, who did you have when the Lakers won it the last time? You have LeBron James. You have AD. You have a whole bunch of amazing role players. You got Rajon Rondo. You got
Dwight
Howard, right?
JaVale.
So you need at least 2 studs, but then you need to surround them with the right person. So the point is with Luka, no, it doesn't work like that. I mean, you need a stud, a couple studs, maybe even 3 studs, and then a whole bunch of role players.
I agree for sure.
Yeah, it won't, because look, you're basically. I'm not saying you're suggesting it. Let's look at the formula.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I know. But what do the Mavericks become if they do that? They become the Nets. Like you have good pieces here and there, but you don't have enough really to do any type of serious damage or anything, right? Look at any of the top teams.
Yeah, they all got 2. At least 2.
At least 2.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I know we wanted to speak about that Gilbert Arenas clip where they're talking about team doctors, and it was a reel that we saw, but the clip started because Rashad McCants was talking about his own knee injury and how when he got, he was like a team first player, buddy with the team ownership. He's like, okay, I want to be here long term, saying all the right things, doing all the right things. And he thought, okay, let me help the team out here, and the team's going to help me out on the back end. So he sticks with the team. He uses the team doctor. Another player he mentions gets the same surgery with a private doctor. That person comes back in like 30 to 50% less time. Takes Rashad longer to get back. And then Rashad never gets that really big deal. And then he moves around. And when they move him, they move him to the worst team, the Kings. So what did you just think about that concept that the doctor doesn't have your best interest in mind? It's the team's doctor. He's a member of the team, and his job is to get you back on the court as soon as you can.
I mean, Gil said it. He was like, there's so many more things that go into a Rashad McCants contract that make us more money. Having Rashad McCants on the court makes us more money than we're paying you. Because Rashad McCants was kind of before my time. How would you say him as a player? Like pretty good role player.
Good role player, and then sometimes he would have outbursts, production. So he'll
have a 30.
Yeah,
randomly.
He could randomly drop 20 something, or So more of a slasher, strong type of scorer. He's probably 6'4", 6'5", legit 2-3. Definitely not a point guard, but a 2 or 3. Yeah.
I guess it's just the business of the game. It's sad, but obviously you see guys like Kawhi when he was like, it doesn't hurt to get more opinions. You see guys in other sports. I know the team probably doesn't like it because they know they're on some different timing because they want him to be back. They don't like him going and checking out other doctors. But
I think with the Spurs though, man, what happened there was, the year before they made it to the conference finals
against the Warriors, right?
And they were whooping the Warriors that game one by 25 to 30 points, and that's when they had KD on them. And the Spurs had just gotten LaMarcus Aldridge. I believe that was his first or second year. Maybe even second year, actually. Not second or third year, in fact. So Kawhi, LaMarcus, these guys were all balling out. The Spurs were looking good, right? You're winning game one, I believe, at the Warriors' place.
That was the Zaza.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's when the Warriors were 72 and whatever. The Spurs were 68 and whatever. So people were like, man, the Spurs might be able to knock these guys out, right? So you have championship aspirations. You get injured. You land on someone's foot. There's no clear, you tore your ACL, you tore your MCL, you tore your meniscus. He had some atrophy or something was going on with his quadricep tendon or something like that. But then again, remember, now it's the off season, right? So the whole off season, the beginning of the season, the middle of the season. I remember they tried to give him some run. He played a few games and then he said he didn't feel good, so they pulled him back out. Ultimately, I think with that situation, he just wanted out. I followed it quite intensively, and I did a whole podcast on the entire thing, an hour podcast just by myself, looking at all the evidence. His uncle was his agent or his manager, and his uncle wanted him in California. He was making it very clear he wanted a big market. He wanted him in Cali. I think the tipping point was basically like Ginobili and Parker kind of called him out.
in that player meeting.
Yeah, man, but like you got to roll with that, man. In my opinion, that's like that's like straight millennial type stuff, right? And that was
But at that time, I don't think, actually they weren't. Ginobili and Tony were not the best players on that team.
so Kawhi was definitely the best player, like
By far.
Yeah, but the thing is, these are your veteran leaders who have been in the trenches. So think about it. This is like you're talking about now 2017 maybe, I think if I remember correctly. And 2014 they won. 2016 I believe he got 2016. No, he got injured in 2017. So this happens in 2017.
17, he won 18.
In 18, yeah. So this happens in this 2017 playoffs. No, sorry.
16.
No,
16 playoffs, he didn't play the whole next year.
No, when did he get injured? He got injured in
16.
it can't be.
Sorry, 18.
He got injured in 2017.
Sorry, hold on.
Yeah. No, he for sure he got
Toronto won 19, not 18.
Yeah, so
18 was the KD Warriors.
so he got injured in 2017
17.
when they made that deep run.
Yeah.
Then 2018
He didn't play that whole year.
is where he came back for a couple games if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And going into the playoffs, that's where they were looking for answers. So now you've been gone for a legitimate year and there's no real clear indication what's going on. So I think the Spurs and the Spurs staff and physicians actually have a very good reputation. And that's why a lot of the talk hosts, like Skip, was like, "I'm super surprised by this because the Spurs are actually they're cautious."
That's what was super weird.
They're like, "No, you're." I think it was a legitimately like miscommunication. Look, man. At the same time, I love Kawhi, but Kawhi was like he was purposely not trying to meet with Pop. Like he was ducking Pop, flying out here, flying out there. So Pop flew out to wherever he was. Seriously, pulled up on him in a diner and they met. Like that's typically not a good look, and I think it just came down to communication thing, right? The Spurs should have known that they were dealing. Look, Parker, immigrant. I don't mean that in a bad way. Ginobili, immigrant. That's that immigrant mindset, man. Slap someone up, yell at them. Coaches like your dad. Coach can cuss you out.
Back out.
Kawhi's not. I'm not saying he's not like that, but Kawhi is not from that culture. So part of it was the Spurs' fault in the fact that they mismanaged understanding their personnel. Kawhi Leonard. A part of it was also Kawhi's fault, where it's like, bro, just be upfront, man. Say like, I don't want to be here. I'm leaving no matter what.
He never really gave like a foregone statement.
Yeah, exactly. And
which is pretty frustrating.
And the Spurs, I mean, the part that upset me was you didn't get drafted by these guys. These guys traded for you.
Where did he get drafted again?
Indiana.
Indy for Grant Hill, right?
Yes, and it's
not Grant Hill, George Hill.
George Hill. I hope not Grant Hill. But he wasn't a lottery pick, and the Spurs believed in him, and they coached him up, they trained him, and he within 4 years, within 2 to 3 years, okay, he got drafted. His first year was 2011, 2012, I believe. He plays in the conference finals that year. 2013, he plays in the finals. 2014, he plays in the finals and he wins the finals MVP. Of course, you give him the credit. He worked hard. He listened. He was coachable. He's talented. He didn't come into the league where they're like, this guy's going to be a finals MVP. The Spurs helped him out on that trajectory, right? So I was a little disappointed from that perspective where it's like, bro, these guys really, like
they held your hand.
They held your hand. Now, where he gets the vindication is the next year he wins an NBA championship, right? With the Raptors.
Yeah.
But now since then, it hasn't, even though his performance when he's healthy is good, they haven't.
He just hasn't been healthy.
Right. The bubble was good. Like the bubble before he got injured, I thought they were probably going to be the favorites to win it all. That was fine.
They choked.
No, he tore his knee.
No. He was played in the bubble.
Yeah,
he played.
No, but he tore his knee in the bubble.
No.
I'm almost certain.
Because he choked Game 7. Because they were up 3-1. They choked Game 7. Kawhi went like 1 for 6 or something. He played really bad in the closeout.
Can you check?
So they're up double digits. I'm 1,000% sure. You may be thinking about you're thinking about Utah.
Remember when he got bumped while he was dribbling?
Utah.
That was not the bubble?
That wasn't the bubble.
Okay, so they choked the bubble.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They could have won that series against. They did end up winning that series, and then they lost to Phoenix in the next round. Yeah. But
So-
do you sorry?
No.
Do you feel like that about the doctors about treating players? Do you feel like it's also where you're at in your career type of deal?
You mean like your body?
Like, no. As like your status. Because Rashad McKinney, you said, was a role player. You think they're trying to get their role players out, but like a player like Embiid, they're probably taking them super precautious, like a precautious approach.
Yeah. Strangely enough, I think it's probably team. It's a culture that probably changes team by team, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think all management, all GMs, and all team staffs are the same. And also, I think it's generational. I think old school '80s, '90s. I think for the most part they'd be like get your butt out, like get your butt on the
Yeah.
court, right? Like that was
That's why he
the
was getting a lot of hate.
yeah, that was the mindset. But I think now, yeah, it would be like if you're a superstar and you know the revenue, and you know that these guys will leave you in a heartbeat, right? They're not going to be loyal to you. So I think these guys probably are starting to become more cautious and say, no, let's hold up here. This is a long-term investment. And you've seen examples like that. You saw it like with Kawhi, even after the Spurs, the Clippers let him sit out for a while.
Yeah.
You've seen that multiple times with Embiid. You've seen that with trying to think who else, man. There's been several players who are given the opportunity to kind of like take their time and come back. And I think it's a smart approach, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart approach.
But do you think that the Spurs kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit by Pop really introduced the whole load managing aspect?
Sure.
Of course, Kawhi took advantage of that, or tried to take advantage of it. But if that's not even an option, do you think? I think Kawhi just plays. He plays. Maybe he does the James Harden fat suit. Not wearing fat suit. I'm saying where he's kind of diddly daddling. I don't want to be here, but I'll play.
No, I think no. I don't think they shot themselves. I think no matter what, he's out because this is not load management. This is you missed the entire season, right? And it's you missed the entire season. We're not sure exactly. Like we know that there's some issue with the knee, maybe with the muscle, but we're not sure. Because remember, even after that, when he left the Spurs and he signed with the Raptors, it's not like I would have to check, man. It's not like it became abundantly clear. Okay, he got a microfracture surgery, or he got a meniscus repair surgery, or he got an ACL surgery. I just think it was rehab. So it was like, were you really that messed up? Were you really just trying to protect yourself so you wouldn't get injured, so you would sign a max contract somewhere else? I think the problem was on both sides, right? The Spurs, again, they didn't understand the guy they were dealing with. But ultimately, man, that's how men are, man. You're getting close to the playoffs. Your veterans are hungry for another championship run. You're talking about dudes who got 4 championships, man. These guys are like, bro, we almost had a 5th one. But, Ginobili and Parker a couple years ago. LaMarcus is hungry for his first. So I think these guys were just gearing up for the playoffs. And they're like, bro, are you in or are you out? I've been in those type of conversations. Like, are you in or, are you in or are you out?
Yeah.
You rocking with us or not? You playing or not? It goes down like that sometimes.
I feel you.
Yeah. I don't know.
I guess there's just so much money invested in today's game where. So you even see high school players now forego their senior year to get ready for college because they don't want to get hurt.
I think it's smart. If you understand what's at stake,
yeah.
Bro, even with the NIL, right? Neil, somebody said bro, if you could get a couple million, a couple 100,000, imagine you're a kid who grew up in the rural parts of America, a farm. You grew up in the inner cities, in the projects. You grew up in governmental housing. Or you grew up in a suburb, but you grew up low class. Parents are both working hard. Your parents are getting old. And then you get to college and you're like, I can make $300,000 a year.
Yeah. That could help a lot of especially basketball players. Because a lot of college players really don't translate. I'm just thinking of like players recently that if there was NIL for their whole career, how much they probably would have stayed all 4 years. Like Carson Edwards, Edie. I mean, Edie did stay.
And then not
Drew
only
Timmy.
Yeah. You stay, and then you're ready for the. You're actually ready for the.
And you're probably making more money in college than you are in the NBA.
Bro, you're making.
Because you're on a minimum contract NBA, but if you're the best college player, you're probably like a $2 million deal.
Yeah, and
at least
you might decide I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, just retire.
You could. I'm making enough promoting somebody else's products. I made my money. I bought my house. I bought this person a house.
Or I go travel on a G League team or
play internationally, play in Italy, play in these foreign countries where you're sipping wine and eating what you want to eat on the beach. I'm serious, man. Like the other benefit is if you go to college, the coaches are on your case a little bit.
Yeah.
It could also be a benefit going into the pros where these guys are now more coachable, right? And ultimately, I still think it makes for a better product. They get to the NBA, I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. For sure. You just remind me of we didn't discuss it before this thing, but when we were talking about the Lakers, Rajon Rondo retiring today. Where do you think Rajon's like? What do you think of like his ranking, his status, or like how do you view Rajon Rondo?
Very good and smart point guard. Very good defensively. In his prime, he was a good defender. He could play in the fast break. He could set up the half court. I think ultimately what harms him from being considered the greatest or the top 3 or top 5 or whatever is his lack of offensive
Development.
productivity,
Yeah.
a consistent shot, things of this nature. But in terms of what you want in a point guard, handling the rock, pestering the other guard, setting up the offense, being a floor general, putting people in the right spots. Yeah, Rondo did that, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, in the era he played in, he was one of the best.
I always just thought like when he had that kind of resurgence in New Orleans with AD and Boogie, like, dang, could you imagine if this dude just didn't shoot 29% from 3?
Yeah.
If he shot 34 to 34 is not even that good. If you just shot 34% from 3, you'd be an all-star and you were almost 40.
Bro,
He was that good.
almost 40?
He was old in New Orleans.
No, bro.
He was like mid-30s.
No. He played for the Lakers after New Orleans, right?
No. Lakers was like one of his last stops.
No. When
Yeah.
he played with, you said with Boogie and AD.
Yeah, Boogie and AD.
That was before the Lakers. Because remember,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
You said after.
No. He played with AD and then before the Lakers.
Mm.
The Lakers were like his last stop.
Yeah, the Lakers and the Clippers, or Lakers, Hawks, Clippers, or
Yeah.
something like that.
So when he was with the Lakers, he probably was like 34, 35. I don't think he was 40 on the Pelicans.
He played for a long time, though, no?
I think another.
Or he was definitely past his prime.
past his
for
prime.
sure.
Yeah. Some of these guys, man, like they can't sustain. I don't want to say it like they can't. The body breaks down, things change. It's not the same, bro. It's things change, man. Things change. Like he played was a young point guard when he played with the Celtics on that championship team. I think he might have even been a rookie or second year player at that time. So you're talking about 2008. He was either a rookie or a second year man. So 2008, 2018, 2028. Nah, he's probably not even 40 right now. Yeah, he's probably not even 40.
You said he came in 08,
He's probably was there in 07.
07?
Yeah.
He was, say, 19 when he came in.
Yeah.
Say he retired in 22.
Yeah.
What's that? 34?
So remember, so 22, that means in 6 more years, that would be 20 years in the league, which he didn't get. So 20, by that point, he'd be 39. So he's probably 34, 33, 34, 35.
Yeah.
What? Just, if you don't mind, Google it real quick. Say, how old is Rajon Rondo?
How old is Rajon Rondo? 38.
So he's 38 now.
Yeah. So he's probably 33, 34.
Yeah, he's still young.
Yeah.
But these guys, depend. Again, I don't know about their eating habits and how they're practicing and all
So
these
like
things.
he could have been a Drew Holiday
For sure.
today.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Rajon had it in him, man, and he was a pest defensively. He was good at rebounding the ball and just pushing it off fast breaking it off the rebound. I like Rajon, man.
Kind of reminds me of Jason Williams a little bit with defense.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been like a Jason Kidd type if he could score, right? And people don't really look at Jason Kidd as a scorer, but Jason Kidd could score. Jason could, especially as Jason Kidd got older, he became much more proficient at the 3-point game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's a what if, for sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of what ifs in the NBA, man. The NBA is typically about a lot of what ifs, man. What if this happened? What if this person got traded here? Yada, yada, yada. So we'll have some what ifs this postseason too, man, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of... I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least one upset.
Oh, yeah.
I
said last time, if there's ever going to be a year where AC is going to win, it's going to be this year.
Where 8 seed wins. Yeah. It could happen, man. It could happen. Like even with
It's
Embiid.
so wide open in the West, especially.
Embiid was balling before he got hurt. Embiid was
I think
balling.
he was my MVP candidate.
That's what a
runner,
lot of people were saying. Who do you think is going to get it this year?
Right? If the season ended today, Jokic. For sure. Hypothetically, say the Mavs get in that 4 seed, I think there's a real shot for Luka, for sure. That might be a Mavs bias.
Yeah, no, I see it. I think a 4th seed a player can get it.
Shea, as far as Shea, it's kind of like a messed up thing about this. Not messed up, but like it's kind of like a weird thing. I feel like they'll never give it to Shea until they give it to Luka.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because it'll look
weird. Does that make? I get it. With that?
No,
yeah.
I get it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. He definitely has a case this year. He has the case the same way Tatum has the case. Like, best team, best record, best player on the best team.
I want to look up that Vladi clip after we're done today. A Vladi clip you brought up.
Oh, that was fun.
I need to see it. I didn't see it anywhere on the internet, man.
Really?
No.
Man.
I like Vladi. Vladi was I used to love watching Vladi play, man. Seriously.
That's my dad's least favorite player.
Really?
Because the flopping.
Yeah, always the flop. You gotta do something, man. Because Vladi had bad knees, Vladi had a bad back. he couldn't really move well after some time, but you could just see the intelligence there.
Yeah.
He was so good with his back to the basket with the passes and
Like
setting up the offense.
Jokic and Şengün type of player, yeah.
Oh yeah. Vladi Cahoot, man. Vladi had a little pick and pop mid range type of shot.
Yeah.
Now Vladi was an interesting guy, man. Looks like a mafia boss or like a
Italian,
like bad guy in a movie or something, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna like the way I'm gonna phrase it is gonna like I don't know if it's gonna make sense. Do you think someone is considered a bust based on strictly their performance, or based on who was drafted after them? Like, let me use an example. Like DeAndre Ayton is not a bad he's not like a flat out like bust. He's still like a pretty good player, but when people look, you passed up on Jaren Jackson, Luka, Trae Young, Shai Gilgeous. I think Mikal Bridges was in that draft. Then do they say, oh, that guy was a bust? Even though DeAndre Ayton, I still say he's probably a top 10 center in the NBA.
What pick did the Suns have that year? Were they the first
Number
pick?
one.
Damn. They could have got Luka and Trae Young.
Trae, Shai,
Ooh, man.
and Jaren Jackson.
The three guards are the best in there.
Yeah, for sure. That draft was loaded.
Would I say he's a bust? No. He is someone who's never reached his potential, man. That's, I think, the frustration people have with him. And he's shown so many glimpses of it. He has, man. You've gotten so many glimpses of, like...
He's like a poor man AD.
Bro, he's like a poor man David Rock. Like,
build-wise, yeah.
No, but
I'm talking about turn it on, turn it off. How AD has the 40 and 20, then he 11 and 6.
I've seen this guy, like his footwork, his up and under. I'm like, dude, why are you not doing this
And then this next game, you're sleepwalking.
I mean, he's one of the reasons they lost in the championships.
Oh, he was getting destroyed.
He could have easily turned it on in the finals, and they would have been fine, man.
The moment I knew he was going to get traded, even before him and Monty had that thing on the bench, I'm like, dude, you have no pride. Luka's technically a point. He's 6'7", you're 7'1". He's posting you up in a game 7 on your home floor. He's posting up. He did it 2 straight times. He faded on a 7-1 player.
No.
Come on, bro.
There's something with the mindset and the mentality there. Again, man, these guys have been catered to probably for a long time. There's that little bit of diva attitude. There's a little bit of prima donna. There's a little bit of like...
Because not every American, but majority of those guys that were 5 stars, DeAndre was probably a 5-star since he was 2 years old. Everyone's looking at him like, oh my God, DeAndre Ayton, you're the next coming. And when someone steps on his throat a little bit, he doesn't know how to respond.
Not everybody's a killer, bro.
We were going to talk about the Monty thing.
Yeah.
Like, Monty got on him, he didn't take it well.
I mean, not did he not take it well. It's probably the reason, one of the reasons.
That's why he's not there right now.
Monty got kicked out. And I thought Monty was a good coach for the Suns, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like Monty gets a lot of hate.
I like Monty.
I don't think it's that bad.
My good friend Jamal, he doesn't like Monty either. So
is he a Pistons fan?
No, he's a New York. His favorite team is New Orleans.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone's likes to crap on Monty like he didn't win 60 games 2-3 years in a row.
It's okay, man. Let these guys go back to the Spurs. Every head coach that gets fired that used to be part of the Spurs coaching tree, I'm like, let them go back as an assistant. I'll happily take them, bro.
Yeah. Could you imagine Ime and
back
Monty
on the bench?
Stack
up that bench again, man.
Yeah.
Have these guys work privately with the players and get them to where they do, but need to be. But yeah, the whole point over there was they were like, Monty needs to start cussing and like screaming at people and stop being so nice. I get it to some extent, man. But it's like it's interesting because the conversation goes back to then what is the job of a head coach? What is the job of a leader? Are you a motivator? Are you a manager of egos? Are you a facilitator? Are you an educator? Maybe you're all of those things, man. Maybe that's why sometimes these guys do respond to getting cussed out. I mean, I use it even with the younger guys. I don't cuss them out.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll show the younger players that I'm disappointed. And
there's some emotion at least.
Yeah, like, no, you guys are not ready today. I did it a couple weeks. I'm like, no, that's okay. Guys, practice is over. Did I tell you the story?
No.
I said, practice is over. I said, you guys are not ready today. And they're all like, they were just looking around. And then I went to the side and I sat on the bench and they were like looking at me. I said, do whatever you guys want. I said, you guys are not ready. Just have fun.
Then they'll start going hard.
I said, you might as well just have fun because, you're going to lose to second and third graders. They're not, this is like a fourth and fifth grade team.
Yeah.
So then they were like, I said, you know what? You don't even deserve to have fun. I said, get off the court. So then I told them, I said, get off the court. I brought them all in and I just went at it. I said, you guys are not serious. This is how hard we try to work. We try to make videos for you, game plans. And you guys come out here and, mess up the same drill time and time again. And then I could tell as I was talking to them, I was observing. I could tell, I'm like, okay, these guys, they're feeling it.
Yeah, they're trying to flip the switch a little
They're
bit.
feeling it. They're like, man. And yeah, so sometimes you use these tactics and stuff.
I bet if you let them go back out there, they would went hard.
Yeah, I didn't let them go back after.
No,
I said I'll see next week. I said I'll see which of you bring it next week.
That's to be the best practice.
Yeah, this is gonna be tomorrow.
Yeah,
tomorrow Thursday. So, yeah, man, it's I think it's an interesting tactic. It's an interesting take on the whole Monty Williams situation. But
I mean, it kind of goes back to what we talked about in the first episode. It's like every coach and every generation takes criticism differently. Like me personally, I'm not a.
Yeah, you told me.
If you're gonna be yelling at my
Pat
face,
on the
I'm gonna
back.
shut down.
Yeah.
I'm more of a let's go. Let's go. Lock in.
No, man, it's interesting. It's almost like parenting, right? When you have multiple kids, you always hear this growing up, and then when you become a parent, you realize that every kid responds differently to different type of pressure and different type of discipline. With one kid, you can just be upfront and direct, and they get it. With another kid, like you said, you got to pick them up before you put them down. With the other kid, you might have to use a little bit of the fear, and the discipline. It's interesting, man. It's interesting just how human psychology is always. It's every human psychology is different, and thus you have to find different motivating factors to get them to do what you want them to do. Right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But I feel like they might be looking at it as like in college or in the NFL, like position coaches. They're kind of like the good cop, and then the head coach is the bad cop.
Yeah. So
like when the head coach is on, they're like, oh, blah blah blah, and then the assistant coach or their position coach, come on, buddy, let's go, come on. I think that's what they're like. Man, yell at Cade Cunningham, but then the assistant coach will come calm him down or lock him back in.
Yeah. Did you ever watch? There's a famous Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg movie where they're cops.
Other guys?
The other guys.
Yeah.
And then they both like go at the person.
Yeah.
He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I thought you said bad cop or something."
That's one of my favorite movies.
It's a good movie.
Will Ferrell's the goat.
That and probably Step Brothers and Talladega Nights and.
Man, they don't miss.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because it's a lot of people don't like his stuff.
Who, Will Ferrell?
Yeah. I'm like,
Will Ferrell's one of the best.
It's enjoyable, man. And sometimes you gotta lower your expectations. It's not like a well-written drama.
Will Ferrell's like Adam Sandler to me.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like
comedy.
The deepest movie.
No, it's comedy.
But you're gonna laugh your butt off.
Like they say, slapstick humor. Like it's funny. I mean, even Talladega Nights and all that. These movies are all really good. So that's it though for my part, man. It's another good episode.
Alhamdulillah, that's fun.
And then next week.
Inshallah.